Hey y'all, I'm your host, Aaron Smith of the Offshore Marine Service Association. Each Friday, I'll bring you the Offshore Briefing, a quick rundown of the week's notable developments, updates, and news you need to know in the offshore space. Whether you're on deck or at your desk, we're glad you're here. Hey, welcome everyone to another episode of the Offshore Briefing on Maritime in America. I'm your host, President and CEO of the Offshore Marine Service Association, Aaron Smith, and with me I have two of my great co-workers, as always, Angel Johnson and Ashley Smith. How you all doing?
Just great, surviving this long week.
Doing good. It's really nice outside, even though it's really hot.
It's not hot in here. I have on my 41 North sweatshirt that I love. Shout out. If you send me stuff, I'll wear it.
Shout out, AMSA member 41 North.
It is the most comfortable hooded sweatshirt and it is so cute, and I wear it all the time.
Yes, from New Bedford. Actually, a location where you probably need a hooded sweatshirt, but Ashley's sitting here down
and
in
it
New
hides,
Orleans.
when I put the hood on, it hides my headphones while I'm listening to my podcast and whatnot. It's just the best. Send me some more.
They are great people. Love them. Great AMSA member. Love having them up there. Got to spend a bunch of time up there when we had the Jones Act enforcer up there. So it is great. So I think starting off today, a lot of these stories will be covered in Friday Fast Facts later today, but I think Ashley had the first story that she's all excited about. And actually, for once, her tidbit, as she calls them, actually is involving the maritime industry.
It also involves cocaine.
Well, I'm less excited about this now.
It made me giggle, which I need a giggle on this long week where school started, and it was like utter chaos. If anyone has children, you have watched Finding Nemo, and our kids' favorite thing was when they would go up to the boat and say, "Touch the butt." Literally, our children are in freshmen and in 7th grade, and we still do it.
How was the traffic? Definitely noticed.
I don't know. I haven't driven yet. TBD. I'll let you know later on.
It was awful.
Well, traffic's just in general awful.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an angry person anyway, but it makes me far more angry just leaving my house, essentially.
Yeah.
Not even the people.
No, start of school traffic was awful this morning. Yes.
I didn't have to do that. Thank God the dads do that. Anyway, so shout out to Marine Link, become an AMSA member. They had a great article about how these Norwegian divers were sentenced for hiding cocaine,
But not, where were they sent?
That's what I'm saying. What intrigued me was A, where it was coming from, B, how they hid the cocaine, and C, they were going somewhere different. Okay, so this vessel started in Brazil and went all the way to Newcastle.
Newcastle where?
Australia?
Close.
No?
New Zealand?
New Zealand, same difference.
The number of geographical problems
It really
we've
is
had
funny.
already today.
Yeah. Okay. I digress. Let me get back. So it's going from there to there. They had all this cocaine strapped to the bottom of the vessel, not hidden inside. No, it was literally strapped to the bottom of the vessel.
Like in the sea bottom?
Like they constructed something and like basically taped it underneath there.
Yeah.
But then it gets even better. These guys flew from Indonesia to Newcastle, New Zealand, to get the drugs off the bottom of the vessel. And that's how they got in trouble, because someone kind of alerted that it was happening. And they were Norwegians. We got lots of principalities. And what are you laughing at?
Yeah, I'm laughing because you were right the first time.
I knew I was right. I knew it was Australia. I knew it. God, I love it when I'm right. Let's rewind to when the car broke down and I told you I was right. I'm right again. That's twice. Love this podcast.
Twice in your life, yes.
Anywho, so here we got, guys. We've got a boat coming from Brazil to Australia with a Norwegian vessel going from Brazil to Australia with these two Norwegian divers flying in from Indonesia.
And I like that they then go, and they're real sneaky about it. So they go buy go buy these sea scooters in one shop, then go buy diving equipment in another shop, and then go buy the cutting equipment in a third shop.
Okay, wait, question. What's a sea scooter?
It was like, it's like one of those things that like
propels yourself
And
while
it
you're
brings you
like,
down because they need to get underneath the boat to get the drugs that they have taped underneath it.
Got it.
yes.
So,
Yeah.
in a
I mean,
literal
I'm
sense.
envisioning all this as like children
But
doing it.
then like didn't do it like then they apparently they got spotted by someone on a ferry.
Crafts.
Like,
Yeah. Like they literally just jumped in the water with all their crap. And was
But-
like, see you later. I'm going to go get the drugs I put underneath here.
explain why
I know. You can do that because it made me giggle.
yeah. So the part I loved about this was they got a search warrant for these idiots' phone, and they find all the details for their plan in a WhatsApp message string called Finding Nemo.
Yes. Isn't
Which-
it hilarious?
Had to be, that it was because they were going.
It touched the butt.
It touched the butt.
Like, so that was my tidbit for today.
Dude.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Not because the drugs were involved, just because of all that.
Yeah. I know I found this story hilarious as well, and just how far people would go, but yet how stupid they would be in doing so. And that kind of provides a segue into the story that I found for this week. And my story
Which is related because Norway, all these other, might as well be the same thing as
no.
Finland.
So, my story was about how far will people go to avoid the Jones Act. In so many cases, what I find how far people will go to avoid the Jones Act, the answer is Canada. The answer is always Canada. I go back to there were transshipments of pollock from Alaska. And what these people would do is they would sail all the way around through the Panama Canal to the east coast of Canada. And there's a provision in the Jones Act that says if you do part of the transport by rail, it's not a Jones Act violation.
Oh, I remember this one.
So these idiots would unload the pollock onto a rail car in Canada. The rail car would move it 100 yards and then put it on a truck and ship it into the United States. That was how they were trying to get around the Jones Act. So later, that exact same port was used by offshore wind developers to skirt the rocks, the scouring protection rock that would be put around U.S. wind turbines instead of using U.S. vessels to transport that rock and therefore employ U.S. mariners. They were going to Canada to that same dock to get Canadian rock to bring to the U.S. to avoid the Jones Act. Well, now we have a very similar story where a company is now building vessels in China to bunker, that means uses fuel, to bunker LNG-powered vessels off the coast of LA, Los Angeles, California. They are transporting the LNG all the way from Canada and then sitting off the coast of LA so they can fuel up ships just so they can, again, avoid the Jones Act. When you have AMSA members like QLNG that have designed LNG bunkering barges and are using them effectively in the U.S. Again, people are going that far, going literally to Canada, hundreds, if not probably more than 1,000 miles, just so they can avoid the Jones Act. And, then I love that these companies will then name these vessels, again, a vessel built in China, and will name it after U.S. landmarks. This one is called the Mount Baker mountain in Washington State. Well, at least we get the name. We don't get the jobs. We don't get the shipbuilding industry. But hey, we at least get it named
not even
after
a fun
U.S.
name.
Yeah, if you're going to name it after a mountain, I can think of a lot better
Yeah.
mountains. Yeah. So, I always think about this. How far will people go to avoid the Jones Act? The answer is almost always Canada.
And also, the logistics of that sounds like a man did it. Just going to throw that one out there, too. Or specifically, you or someone you're related to.
Are they really saving that much money?
I would love to see the cost breakdown, right?
Well, when you look at the cost of foreign mariners, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if
That's shocking.
if you can pay people literally pennies on the dollar for what a U.S. mariner makes, I wouldn't be surprised. But so you're saving a little bit on the front end. What are you costing on the back end? you're costing U.S. jobs. You're costing, the Secretary of the Navy just said this week that the U.S. domestic national security shipbuilding industry depends upon the commercial shipbuilding industry. Well, if you're taking that commercial shipbuilding jobs that should be in the United States and sending them to, well, washing them through Canada to China, you're outsourcing our domestic security. So for saving a few pennies by employing foreign mariners, you are costing our national security, which kind of goes into another article I saw. I've been following the IMO has started its meetings here, International Maritime Organization, and the Secretary General of the IMO said that this week that maritime security is a shared responsibility. Well, that is great. That's great. Can we have the Canadian Navy patrol shipping lanes by the piracy areas off Somalia? Can we have the Finnish Navy, or can we have the Norwegian Navy provide security for the world shipping fleets?
The
No.
Indonesian Navy?
The Indonesian Navy? No, it's never those navies. It's the United States Navy. So, okay, so it's a shared responsibility, but how is it a shared responsibility if you're constantly undermining the U.S. commercial maritime industry, which provides for the U.S. Navy,
Which you rely on.
which you then rely on? So I just find this to be
Slap in the face.
You're right. It is a slap in the face. And I find it very interesting when these facts happen like that. So I just wanted to, in my usual style of Charlie Day with the crazy red string linking multiple stories, link all of these stories together today. So that's what I saw. Anjo, what are you seeing? Anything?
Okay, well, I may need your help with this one. So I was looking at articles and I found one about autonomous vessels.
Mhm.
So I dug in there. It was the U.S. Navy they put out a RFI requesting information seeking a wide range of medium to large size vessels to be a part of their new program, the Modular Attack Surface Craft program. And that program is pretty much a shift towards unmanned fleet in the U.S. Navy.
Yeah, it is an interesting, the Navy as a whole is investigating, not going to, but is investigating unmanned vessels. And I think, it goes to what you're seeing in Ukraine, where, you are seeing the Russian Navy is getting held to a stalemate, if not being beaten back by Ukrainian drones. And it kind of goes to what you're going to see, I think, in a lot of these conflicts is atypical warfare and atypical vessels and crafts and drones and everything like that. And so I applaud the U.S. Navy for looking at this. And, I know that the Navy has a few autonomous vessels already, and you look at those, they're not what is considered a normal naval vessel. It is a vessel that's an offshore energy vessel. They're crew boats. I know one of them, now called I think it's the U.S. naval vessel Nomad, is the former crew boat, the Riley Clare. You have another one, the U.S. naval vessel Ranger, is based upon a Sea Corps-based crew boat design. So you have, which is what we have always known, is that these are the vessels in the offshore energy industry are some of the most technologically advanced vessels. Why should anyone be surprised that the Navy is leveraging that technology versus, other ships, which of course you need, but, transports, you're not going to put a tank on a crew boat, but when you're facing an atypical enemy or an atypical warfare situation, why would you be surprised when all we would have to fight that is more kind of fleet style cruisers or destroyers or something, or aircraft carriers or something like that, when you could, be more effective with something that's the size of a crew boat or something like that. So I think these things are interesting. I hope now that when we see these things that our friends over at MARAD will also be looking at this, because MARAD often only looks at big ships and says to be militarily useful, a vessel has to be, 10,000 gross tons, or they have these archaic ways of measuring the militarily useful nature of vessels, when what we actually see are the militarily useful vessels are now a crew boat, are now a MPSV, are now any other sorts of craft which are found in our segment of the industry. So I find that interesting. And yeah, I think it's something we should be watching. So I think that's a good article to find. So I think those were 3 very good stories, oddly connected. If you have stories that you would like us to see, please send them to us. We have people that do pitch stories for Friday Fast Facts and for the Offshore Briefing. If you want to be in that number, please send away. We're always looking for sources. Also, be on the lookout for, what happens Tuesday is the next version of Maritime in America with our special guest is going to drop.
Oh, yes. Exciting.
Yeah, it's going to one. I loved recording this. I love getting to tell this man's story.
Yeah.
He's got a great
And I'll
story.
be sure to email the members and remind everyone. So if you're an AMSA member,
Yes.
look out for me emails. If you're not, join AMSA. Email Ashley Smith.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm really excited, and we actually are booking we're going to be next week recording our next episode, which we got a good next guest as well, who is from the best city in America. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. So everyone,
Not New Orleans.
Yeah, I was wondering which.
No, we need to yeah.
Nope. He is from a great place. Wonderful place that produces very smart and intelligent people
That
as
don't
well.
listen to their wives.
Yeah, of course.
Have a good one.
Thank you, everyone. Be safe.
Happy Friday.
That wraps up another episode of Maritime in America. We're proud to highlight the voices and stories that keep the American offshore industry strong. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us, and remember, the course ahead is shaped by those who step up and steer it. If you liked what you heard, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your crew. Tune in every Friday for your offshore briefing, and don't miss our next full episode, dropping soon with the very special guest's mariner's perspective. Catch you next time.